Hey guys, it's Maya. Welcome back. It's super awesome to have you here. So in the previous video, I was talking about the problems with casts, and in this video, I'm gonna talk about mood swings. And mood swings are pretty much a normal part of our lives. But today, I'm not gonna talk about these normal mood swings. Today, I'm gonna talk about when you start noticing big changes in your mood during the recovery. And if you're experiencing something like that right now, let me tell you, you're not alone. You are not alone in this. And the second thing is that I have to ask you, are you taking any kind of painkillers? Why painkillers? Because this might be the reason why you have this kind of experience. So I'm gonna share my story and my experience with painkillers. So right after the operation, I broke my ankle in 2012, my talus bone in October 2012, and a week later I had the operation. And right after the operation, they gave me some really strong painkillers, and morphine became my best friend. But the pain after the operation, the first 2 days, was so strong and so unbearable that I was literally begging the nurses for another dose of the morphine, like literally every 5 minutes. And every time they said, well, you know, we have to wait for another few minutes because you already got the maximum dose. And I went from being totally fine in the pain to a desperate crying in seconds. And I was sure that something is wrong with me because that wasn't me, you know. I wasn't like crying all the time. I wasn't going from being fine to cry in seconds before that. So, but then I was thinking about, okay, maybe that's because I was alone in the hospital. We just moved to New Zealand. Jerry was working all the time. He couldn't be there with me all the time. And yeah, I thought that maybe it's some kind of depression and maybe that's the reason. But then there was that nurse, and he shared his story with me, and he broke his ankle a year before that, and he was sharing the story, his experience with opiates. And I'm sure that his story, his experience saved my sanity, because I'm sure that the days and weeks after that would be totally different if I wouldn't know about that. So he told me that this stuff is really strong. So these painkillers, opiates are really strong, and that I'll be irritable and whippy and I'll be crying all the time, and just that I have to know that that's not because something is wrong with me, but because I'm taking these painkillers. And to make things a bit more exciting, he said that it might be even worse when I'll stop using them. So thankfully I was prepared, and Jerry was prepared, and it was like that. So I was crying all the time. I was being like totally fine, and then cry, and then be totally fine. And when I stopped using them, it was a disaster. And it took me a few days, and with Jerry, both know what is happening. But you know, I was so annoying, I annoyed myself, and when you are annoying to yourself, you just cannot run away, you know. But thankfully, yeah, these withdrawal symptoms went away after the few days, and thankfully I knew what was happening. So if you have this kind of experience right now and you think that you are totally alone and that something is wrong with you, you don't have any kind of disorder, you don't have any kind of depression if you're taking painkillers. If you're taking painkillers, that might be the reason why you have these mood swings, why your emotions are like on a roller coaster. You're not alone. Painkillers, morphine, opiates, these are really strong stuff. And yes, if you have these mood swings, this might be the problem. This might be the reason why you have this kind of experience, and you're not alone. So my advice to you is that, first of all, get off this as soon as possible. So of course, you know, the pain should be bearable. You just don't cut it like, okay, now I don't know, a day after the operation, I'm fine, I don't need painkillers. Just take them as long as you need them, but go off of them as soon as possible. This is tip number one. And the second thing is that you have to talk to your friends and to your family, and they have to know what is happening with you. You know, nothing is wrong with you, but because you need their support, they have to know why your emotions are like on a roller coaster. And then the last thing is that you have to be gentle to yourself. You know, nothing is wrong with you. You don't have any kind of disorder. You don't have any kind of depression. It's just the effect of these drugs on your brain. So keep that in mind. Yeah, that was for today. This was about painkillers and mood swings. If you'd like to know more about me, about my work, and about the recovery, come to my site, mynovak.com, and I'll see you next time.